Hi, I'm Tammy. The purpose of the Tammy North Show is to give high achievers actionable content to propel themselves to senior leadership while living a balanced life. Women leading within corporations and government organizations who want to perform with authenticity at the senior executive level have found their community. Happy New Year, my friend. I am so excited to talk to you today. The concept that I'm going to share with you will completely blow your mind. And if you do it, by the end of 2021, you won't even recognize yourself. And I mean that in the best way possible. This is the year that you realize you're capable of so much more than you ever imagined. This is the year that you make supercharged progress toward your big dream. There is one thing that you want so bad. You think about it constantly, but it always seems out of reach, like it happens for other people, but not you. Still, you have this ever-present voice in your head telling you that you were put here on this earth for that dream. Well, in 2021, in spite of the pandemic, in spite of your own limiting beliefs, and in spite of all the New Year's resolutions that you've ever given up on in the past, this year, if you take really big action, if you take the steps I'm going to share with you in this episode today, you will make so much progress that you are going to be the one blowing your own mind. So are you ready to get on with it? I had a huge revelation this year, and I'm sure it applies to you as well. My revelation is that I have been dreaming too small. I reviewed all my goals from 2017 to 2020 that I wrote down during that period. I have planners that I keep, and I reviewed them all. Every year, I had between 5 to 7 annual goals that I thought were pretty big. And what did I find? I discovered that I completed every single goal I wrote down since 2017, with the exception of one minor weight loss goal to lose 15 pounds that I haven't been very committed to. So I'll tell you more as soon as I can, but I even wrote down some goals that I thought were way too big for me in 2017 and 2018. And this year, I blew one of those stretch goals completely out of the water, one that I was on a mission to meet by, let's say, 2023. It was so big, I was sure it would take me that long to do it. But boy, I was wrong. So trust me, reaching this goal didn't happen by accident. I did a bunch of things in the right direction from 2017 to 2020. But even so, I still really did think it was going to take me another 3 years longer than it did. The fact that my goal and the actions I took in direct support of reaching that goal resulted in achieving it 3 years earlier than I planned finally woke me up. So I talked to you about limiting beliefs, and I want you to dream big. But as I sit here at the beginning of January 2021, I realize that I have still been letting limiting beliefs hold me back. And you know I've been talking to you about this for years. I'm a big dreamer and I'm a big planner. But even though I'm dreaming bigger than I did 10 years ago, I realize that now I'm still dreaming too small. And I also see all the people all around me who I do perceive as better than me. There's a lot of people who I honestly believe are capable of more than I am. But so many of them are playing small in so many ways. Am I better than them? Are they better than me? You guys, that is not the point. The entire point is that I am capable of much more than even my optimistic self believes, and so are all the amazing people I meet in my life. And you know what? So are you. There is truly room for me, for them, and for you. We can all succeed. And when you succeed, you will show others that they can succeed as well. So don't think this dream you have is selfish. You must reach for your biggest potential so that you will inspire others. Some of those people will be your kids. Help them dream bigger. Your friends, others in your family, other people that your light touches. They are waiting for you to bloom into the badass being that's changing the world in such an amazing way. And I am so full of love for you. I have so much confidence in you, and I know that you are ready to dream bigger. I know you can do this. The dream that keeps coming back to you is trying to get your attention. Your future you is begging you to go for it. Starting today, starting now. What have you got to lose? Imagine if you went all in, if you really went for it, if you took massive action toward this dream. Where might you be in 12 months? I want you to just take a minute and imagine yourself as that woman. Do you know what that woman, the one who is you 1 year from now, what she would say to you? She would tell you that today, here in January 2021, this is the absolute most important goal you could possibly work on this year. She knows why you're here, and she is ready to show you the way to make your most important dream come true in 2021. In order for you to do this, I'm going to need you to focus on only one thing: your thoughts. I can already hear your thoughts. You're coming up with so many reasons that you're going to fail. You're coming up with all the failures from your past. You're telling yourself that you haven't succeeded at this dream so far, even though you've been dreaming it for a really long time. But one question I have in response to that is, do you really want this dream? Seriously, do you want it? Do you want the dream that you're focusing on right now to actually come true? If not, then find a different dream. But if you do, then trust me, your thoughts are your biggest roadblock. Have you ever met a gold medal sprinter who won races by looking behind them the entire time? No, the race starts and they're full speed ahead, looking constantly forward. Every bit of effort that they have is spent looking ahead. They're ready for new obstacles. They make passes. They just keep putting one foot in front of the other until they win the race. The odds are pretty high that if they tried to run that same race while looking back over their shoulders, that they would end up tripping or colliding with other runners, or at the very least, they would run a lot slower because it's pretty hard to run when you're not looking straight ahead. And the result would probably be that they wouldn't win any races. So no more looking back to figure out how you're going to achieve something that you never have even done before. You can look at others who have achieved a dream that you want to accomplish, and you can also consult with your future self. But that's it. Quit asking yourself from 5 years ago if you can do this, because yourself from 5 years ago didn't even know you could be who you are today, let alone who you're going to be 5 years from now. So for the next year, I really want you to give this a try. Spend all of your time looking forward and no time looking back. When we get to December 2021, we'll take some time and we'll reflect. But until then, no, let's just keep pushing. Let me give you an example. If you want to become a millionaire, if you want to lose 50 pounds, if you want to get promoted to a senior executive position at work, if you want to become debt-free, if you want to become a person who takes multiple international vacations a year, whatever it is for you, whatever your dream is, whatever your big goal is, then think of the person who already accomplished that goal. Think about their day. How do they wake up? What is their routine? How do they go about their schedule? What do they eat? What do they wear? How do they organize their time? How do they manage their tasks? How do they organize their schedule? How do they show up to their friends and family? How do they show up at work? What kind of attitude do they have? How do they react to setbacks? What thoughts do they focus on? Do they indulge in self-pity? Do they indulge in overwhelm? Do they allow others to control their time? Do they scroll social media endlessly? Or do they wake up before the sun rises? Do they feed their minds? Do they exercise their bodies? Do they believe in themselves? Do they walk with confidence and purpose? Really study another person who's already reached the goal that you want to achieve, and then imagine their thoughts. What actions did they take? And then become that person mentally, starting today. Whether or not you've actually achieved the goal, you can get the thoughts in your mind that are as if you've already achieved this big goal. And you can start walking in her shoes, doing the actions that she would do, thinking the thoughts that she would think, carrying yourself the way you would carry yourself if you have already achieved this goal. No more excuses. The person who achieved that goal, she doesn't make excuses. Own your mindset. Be deliberate with your thoughts, write them down, believe them, and become them. Yes, the negative thoughts are going to come, but you must dwell on the ones that are going to fuel your fire. You'll immediately feel incredible motivation when you do this consistently. That motivated, confident flow of feelings will drive actions that you know you need to take and will help push you forward, even when you're afraid. It's going to take work and practice, but you can get your mind there much faster the more you do it, and then that will drive you to make your dream a reality. The thing is, once your mind is set, and when you start to fully believe, when it's ingrained in your head that you will reach your most important goal, your dream, you will truly become the person who makes that goal possible. And at that point, when you have the mindset, reaching your goal will actually become inevitable. All you'll have to do is just do the work. Once you believe, once you have the mindset, the work is the easy part. You're good at making goals. You're good at writing down all the steps you need to take. The problem is that you're not always good at controlling your thoughts so that you actually go out into the world and take the steps that you wrote down. Or you might take a few, then you make a mistake, or you have a small failure of some kind and you start to shrink. You kind of want to go hide somewhere and play it safe, and then you never reach your dream. But what if that setback was just a lesson preparing you, strengthening you, teaching you? If you learn from the setback and then you try again, and then you keep learning from any setback you might have, but then keep moving forward always toward your goal, you will make such progress that when you do eventually get to December 2021, and I let you finally take a look back, you are going to shock yourself at how far you've come. This is what I want for you. Okay, so if you really do want to define your most important goal, which you're going to adapt from your biggest dream, and if you want to take massive actions and make massive progress toward it with the right mindset, this is one of the best reasons to get a life coach. If you are interested in working with me one-on-one, then head on over to my website, genuinedrivenwomen.com, and you're going to find several options there to work with me. I'm currently taking on a few new clients for the first quarter, and I do have a couple spaces left. So one option you'll find is a 5-week one-on-one coaching program where I will take you through the process that I have designed to perfectly set you up to accomplish your biggest dream. Okay, now let's get ready to dream big. The work I'm going to walk you through today on the podcast will identify your 2021 goal and the massive actions you're going to take to really make this year the year when you will blow your mind. First of all, this is not a resolution. Heck, I don't even want to call it a goal. For the work I want you to do in 2021, the word goal sounds way too small. I was reading the book Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg last month, which is really fantastic and I highly recommend it. And he called this kind of big goal I'm talking about an aspiration, which I loved. To me, that sounds worthy of you. It sounds worthy of all the love, the time, the energy, and the powerful mindset it's going to take to cultivate such an incredible result as the one I want for you. So think of something you want, something you believe is big, just out of your reach. Okay, now think even bigger. I promise you, you are thinking too small. If you say you want a promotion, you want to lose 10 pounds, you want a $10,000 raise, you want to start a podcast, I promise you, your goal is too small. Sure, you could do that and you would feel proud and you'd be satisfied when you accomplished it. But the thing is, one of two things will actually happen when you make a goal that small. One, you will either easily reach it in a few months and then you won't have a goal for the rest of the year. Or two, which is what will happen to most of you. You'll start, you're going to have some success, but then you're going to have a little bit of a setback. Then you're going to think you'll try again next week because the goal is easy enough that you really could do it in 1 month if you wanted to. So you're like, well, I'll just work on it in February. But actually, this goal is not really that motivating to you. You're going to get bored. You're going to stop thinking about it. And then either way, if you succeed at the goal or if you don't reach it at all, it's a problem either way. It was too small. This year, I want you to make a goal that scares the living stuffing out of you, that makes you shudder just thinking about it. If you think, wow, in order to reach that, I would have to do those things, that is terrifying. It's going to take you moving out and doing actions you have never done before. It's going to require you to step all the way out of your comfort zone over and over and over, month after month. I promise you that if you do this, if you actually write down this big, crazy aspiration that you've been dreaming about for years, and then you follow the steps in this podcast, you will have a year that absolutely changes your life. I wrote down my aspiration in December, and I'm already taking new big steps to reach it. And I promise you, I will tell you my goal once I get some more momentum toward it. But I'm already not the same person as I was 2 years ago. And part of the reason is all the time I spent out of my comfort zone, doing things I never imagined I would be doing. And now I realize I can accomplish even more, and I plan on doing so. And that's what I want for you. At the end of 2021, even if you don't get 100% of this big, crazy aspiration, what if you make it 60% of the way, 80%, 90%? Can you imagine? If that's the case in December 2021, let's say you got 90% of the way there and it took 11 and a half months. Can you imagine what you would do in the first quarter of 2022 alone? Yes, my friend, you will become unstoppable. If you accomplish one giant goal in one area of your life, you will also realize that you can do it in all the other areas as well. And even cooler is that as you improve one area and then another, what happens is all of the areas of your life start to float up as well until you are living a completely transformed life. I hear you. I hear your mind telling you that this is ridiculous, that this is not going to work. You're too old, too tired, too weak, too stressed, too busy, too broke. You're saying this is not going to work. You've tried it before. I get it. But I promise you that you will make this work. You can transform your dreams into reality if you let your limiting beliefs go. You have to transform your thoughts. It is time to notice, to actively hear and identify the negative thoughts that your brain is trying to tell you. These are the thoughts in your own head that work against you and hold you back. They're like monsters that a 5-year-old thinks are under the bed. These restrictive opinions of yourself are essentially your own mind scaring you, which is just the result of the unknown, or you just don't know, you haven't figured it out yet. You don't know how you're going to get there. It seems so far away. It seems so hard. It seems so big. It seems so scary. I'm here to tell you it's okay that you don't know how you're going to make this happen. You don't need to know. You don't need to know today. You don't have to have it all figured out. You have the entire year to figure it out. Today, I want you to focus on what you want, not how you're going to get there. Don't think about the obstacles. Just focus on the dream, the aspiration. It's time to shine a light into the dark corners of your mind and transform these dark thoughts into powerful phrases that fuel you, that feed your spirit. Choose to believe you can, and you will. I need you to believe that you can do this. I need you to make a commitment to yourself today to take deliberate responsibility to move yourself into a better place, a better mindset than you're in. As long as you are alive, it is never too late to move toward your aspiration. If you keep making positive changes, you will surprise yourself. You have the power to change your world. Okay, for the first action and the exercise we're going to do today, get a piece of paper, notebook, journal, whatever, and then somewhere in the middle of the paper, write down the boldest aspiration, the biggest goal that you have ever set for yourself in your entire life. Make it kind of crazy, even scary. Just make sure it's something you want to do with all of your heart and soul. It's going to take some bold steps to make this dream happen, and it's going to get dicey at times. So make sure you really want what you're asking for, because you're going to make it happen. Today, I was working on the actions that I'm going to have to take to make my big aspiration a reality. And I have to tell you, I physically shuddered at some of the things I was writing down. I'm not kidding. It was like I felt palpable fear somewhere in my body. I think it's because the actions that are going to be required from me and my goal are going to change a lot of things. And they're going to require me to do some things that my introverted self will be pretty uncomfortable about. But I also realized that I'm going to do them. So yeah, my body was manifesting some kind of terror. And at that moment, I have to tell you, I smiled and I basically patted myself on the back because I know I wouldn't be afraid if I planned on writing down my list and then just ignoring it or throwing it in the trash. I'm afraid because I wrote down some freaking bold actions and I'm going to do them. So my body may as well just get used to feeling this way because I'm not going to let a little shiver of fear stop me. And that's what I want for you. What I want to talk to you about now is how important it is to actively fail. And that's the reason the things on my list scared me, because it's the difference between passively failing or actively failing. And I'm going to choose to actively fail. There's two ways you can fail at your giant aspiration. The first is to passively fail, which is, let me think. In order to explain this, think of the billions of people on this planet. I'm pretty sure everybody has something that they want. A dream, a goal, a love, a job, a journey, an adventure, something they've imagined. And many of those people might actually create a life that they're satisfied with. You know, it's a nice, comfortable life. It's good enough. But I believe that most people probably don't achieve their highest potential life. There was something that, given their physical and intellectual abilities, their talents, their environment, the gifts that they were given, there was something that they could have become if they had tried. There was some impact that they could have had on the world. The thing is, especially in the incredible world we live in today, most people are passively failing at becoming the best version of themselves. One of the most heartbreaking reasons is the double-sided coin that technology has become. On one hand, our life is easier in so many ways. We have access to massive education. It's basically free or really easy to learn almost anything you want. It's my opinion that at this point, college might even become obsolete because of the massive amount of information that's available. And a lot of this technology has made our lives so easy that we have tons of free time compared to, like, let's say our mothers or our grandmothers in like the 70s, 60s, 50s, as you go back. The technology today has freed up so much of our time because so many things are automatic. You can have food delivered. The laundry is so easy. There's hardly any ironing required. I mean, everything is so easy to do that we have hours of free time compared to generations in the past. And then there's the online business world, the online economy, which is basically an open door that's going to allow so many to transform their lives and the lives of others if it's used well. But then the negative flip side of that very same technology coin is how addictive and easy it is to spend giant blocks of time doing absolutely nothing. I used to call the TV a brain sucker when my daughter was about 5 or 6. This is the 90s. This is before smartphones, before Netflix. I used to tell her, turn off the brain sucker. That was our thing. But now that 1990s brain sucker seems like a little minnow compared to the all-encompassing sea of brain suckers that attack each one of us these days. I want you to succeed at your aspirations so bad. I want it for you in the most powerful way. But here's the thing though, if you don't get it this year, if you get close, if you come just short of it, but there's only one thing that I'm going to 100% hate to see for you, is that if you miss out on the chance of achieving your big dream because you let life slip by like the flip of the finger on your phone, please don't scroll away your chance to step into the highest potential you. This is the year you decide that you want something more than that. This is the year you decide your phone and all the electronic pacifiers are no longer going to control you. Okay, so here's the next action we're going to take. You wrote down your big aspiration in the center of your paper. Now what I want you to do is to write as many bold actions as you can think about all around your aspiration. This is all the things that you could actively do to make that aspiration come true. Just anything you can imagine. If you think of the future you that's already accomplished it, or you think of somebody else who's already accomplished it, what are the things that they might have done? And you can think of multiple different people who might have done it if they all did different things. Just brainstorm all the possible things that you could possibly do to make that aspiration a reality and write it all around the paper. For an example, if you wanted to make more money, then write down a big amount in the middle of the paper. Let's say you have your own business and you want to make $500,000 next year. Imagine that amount of money and then think what it would take to make that amount and start brainstorming active steps that you would have to actually do to make that real. If you work in a corporate world or in a big organization and you want to become an executive, maybe you have been planning this, that it's going to happen, for you 3 to 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now. Is there any chance you could do it this year? If so, brainstorm all the ways that could possibly happen. I mean, it could even be changing companies or something like that, but whatever it is, just brainstorm every possible way that could possibly come true. Did you write down a weight goal that you want to lose some weight? Well, make that goal big enough to surprise you. Not just the goal that you think you can do, but the goal you actually want. Write down all the active steps you could possibly think of to make that happen. One of the keys to this is imagining what the person who already did achieve this aspiration what does she do in her daily life? How does she go about her actions? If you think about her being there, what did she do to get there? What does her mind tell her? How does she feel? When she's walking around in her life feeling so good, what does she do to dream even bigger? Write down as many of these big, bold actions as you can possibly think of, and then keep the paper handy somewhere so that you can keep adding to the list over the course of the year. Okay, then action 3 is I want you to look at your list, look at all of the actions you wrote down, and choose 5 of those actions. You can circle them or something, mark them so that you know that these are the 5 that you choose. These are going to be the first actions that you take. Now, I want you to literally go onto your January calendar on your phone or your planner or wherever you track your time. And I want you to commit to a time that you will either do these actions or start them. If they're kind of more of a habit kind of action, then commit to a date you will start. Or if it's something that just needs a block of time, like if I'm going to write a book, let's say, then I would block off time to write each chapter. That would be an example. So commit to a time when you will actually do these actions, the 5 you chose, and put them all in January. And then on February 1st, create a reminder to schedule 5 more items on your February calendar. And then that February 1st reminder, make that one reoccurring so it happens on the 1st of every month until December. And just have it remind you to schedule 5 more things on your calendar for that month. And keep your list, keep adding to it. You can type it up in a Google Doc or something if that helps. That way you have it handy everywhere you are. It'll be really easy to transfer from the Google Doc to your calendar, but just make sure you do this and think about it. When you actually take these actions, these 5 actions every month, what that will really be is 60 actions toward this big, amazing goal in 1 year. If you took 60 actions toward anything, do you believe you would accomplish it? Yeah, I think you would. Especially if they're big, bold, scary, out there actions that require massive action. So think about the person who does make $500,000 in her business. Think about the person who is at the weight you really want to be at. Think about the person who can afford to go on incredible international vacations a couple times a year. Whatever your dream is. Do you think that she commits to a plan? Does she know what she wants? Does she look at her calendar? Does she have a routine that makes that happen? Does she take all the massive actions to get what she wants? You already know the answer to that. You know who she is, and you know that you are capable of being that future you. 2021 is the year where passive failure is a thing of the past. 2021 is your year of active failures. If you don't reach your aspiration in 2021, it will not be because you didn't take massive action. I can promise you this. If you're taking the big, bold, massive actions it will require you, you will love who you are at the end of 2021. And if you think your aspiration is big this year, wait for what that version of you will want. It is going to be a great year of actively failing, learning, growing, and achieving. Let's get to it. 2021 is the year that you transform your life. You can connect with us on Facebook at Genuine Driven Women, or to learn more about what we offer, check out genuinedrivenwomen.com.